Hi, everybody. It's an exciting day. It is the golden era that we are going into, and it's the end of CBDCs. So I've got my buddy Johnny Litecoin with us. We're going to see what he has to say about that and some other current events right after this. Give us a like and share the video. We'll be right back here on the new normal. It is a great day here in the land of cryptos and silver and I guess going into the golden era here for the U.S.
It's a great time for the U.S. I'm excited. I'm excited again. So I think we have great things ahead.
I think so too. If you guys haven't seen Trump's video message to, or I guess it was like a phone, he phoned it in to the WEFs. You should go watch that. You can find it on pretty much any video streaming service, but he pretty much laid it out for them, like what's happening here, what the priorities are, and what's moving forward. I do love that he called out Bank of America and them unbanking the conservatives and the and then that little lady sitting next to, and I can't remember what country she was from, and she said, well, actually, you may not have heard of my bank, but I'm larger than both Jamie and Brian put together. And Trump acknowledged that he did know her bank. And what was it?
Santander.
He's saying Santander, but I don't know.
Oh, it's a very big bank in Latin America, like Banco Santander. Yeah. Yeah.
She has an online bank now, which I had a business venture with some friends that I had just experienced on online banking. I didn't even know that was a thing where there's no brick and mortar at all. Like you get online and you enter all your bank information and it's just like solely online banking.
I have an Ally, a bank account, and that to me is a lot more palatable. It's online. I don't have to see a branch. It's perfect.
Okay. So Ally is the same thing. So is that the same thing as, it's not the same thing as Cash App, because Cash App is just a payment system. It's not
Cash App. They do give you a routing and account number, so you could direct deposit stuff, but it doesn't fully like Ally or an online bank like that. Like you could send a wire transfer, you can do things of that nature. It makes it a lot easier, like a lot less red tape. They don't flag as much. You know what I mean? It's just got a lot of advantages, I feel like, over these big behemoth banks that do not have our best interests at heart.
Mm-hmm. I know that app that my local bank created for the military. It's called Roger. And I know that's like an online banking app because, military people could be anywhere in the world. And so that's an online banking app for anyone in the military. So it's really interesting to see. And that was part of our conversation before we got started was, so ironic. Like, what are the repercussions that we could see of Trump coming out with this EO today that ends CBDCs? Because, when you get into like will there be like legal language around defining a CBDC? Because, could you consider Cash App payments a CBDC? It is centralized. It is a digital currency. It'll be really interesting to see kind of how this plays out and what the effects of this are going to be going forward.
I think you're going to see stable coins being embraced and pushed, but rejection of a CBDC. And I don't mind that system. I don't want to. I've never liked the idea of using stable coins because my stable coin was always Litecoin or Bitcoin. I always felt like, hey, I want a stable coin that's a hard currency. That to me is, even though it's not maintaining the value of a dollar, it's the dollar's losing value. So to me, it's not stable. But the people that think that way, let them use a stable coin. And I think as long as it's not controlled by a central bank where they could turn it off and on, if you have even if you had some bad actors in the stable coin arena, well, you're not being forced to use any one stable coin. You could use ones that are more decentralized, ones that are on better blockchains. I mean, there definitely could be a Litecoin stable coin. And hey, I'll send you a Litecoin dollar through MWeb. You know what I mean? And I definitely see the future of that for sure.
So that kind of wrecks my brain a little bit because when I'm thinking stable coin, I think that is tied to like the Federal Reserve note or the value that is seen at the time by it. So I don't see how could there be a dollar, a Litecoin?
It could be a stable coin. It just maintains the value of a dollar. What's a dollar? What if there's a constitutional dollar? What if there's a dollar that's backed?
A different dollar. Okay.
Sure. Whatever dollar is there, the stable coin will work and suffice. And it's a lot better than the banking system that we have. I think it's about giving people choice. If they want to use the dollar, I mean, we can't force them to, Bitcoin could go to $1 million, but if it goes down to 900,000, they say Bitcoin crashed. And it's like,
yeah.
You know what? You guys are, you bet you're not doing that good in that Bitcoin. It's like, well, I was telling you about it at $2,000, that 900,000, but in your mind, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that good from it. So however you think.
The same reason that they think eggs are so expensive today. Oh my gosh, eggs are so expensive. No, it's just that your dollar isn't worth anything.
Yeah.
Eggs have not changed.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost any more. It doesn't take any more feed to raise a chicken or to create an egg. Eggs have not changed, but your dollar is worth nothing. That's what changed. Like it's hard to get people to like unwind the story that they've been programmed,
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
So that to me would be a good system. And then, let it be whatever dollar is the dollar used. And I would hope it wouldn't be a Fed note at some point, that system would end. And we can go into back to some type of sound money system. That would be great. But that would even make a stable coin, these stable coins be more important at that point in time. It would increase the value of our currency, whatever it was, because you can get it digitally all over the world easier and faster. And there's also a lot of, stable coin has a really fast velocity of money because it settles so quick. It can be immediately reset. It has a velocity of money compared to a regular dollar of like 10 to 1, how fast it moves.
Okay.
So that's really good for the economy and commerce. It frees markets up. Let's face it, the financial system being so slow, all that does is benefit the big players involved. They're holding your funds. Oh, you didn't have money in there. We're going to fine you. Oh, this. Oh, so by speeding things up, the system up, it definitely empowers the little guy.
So with the regulations frozen right now, does this kind of allow like the crypto space to get a jump on innovating right now and kind of moving things forward in this environment where Trump's kind of said like, okay, regulations on hold, we're moving things forward. He's got the crypto czar guy in place. Now, with that said, there still is the Chevron doctrine that went through. So regardless of what the crypto czar says, like that doesn't create law. He's there for enforcement and guidance, but that doesn't create laws. Laws still have to go through Congress and get signed by the president. So how does that kind of all play into these new rules or this new space that we're going into?
I mean, I see much more of a hands-off approach. And I think the meme
Was
coin,
that handing it back to the people then? You guys decide. The government's not in the money anymore.
yeah. And I think the meme coin thing that Trump released was to kind of show people the amount of money in this that can be made. Let's face it, he released it on Solana. And what did they buy with the profits? They bought assets on Ethereum. They didn't buy Solana with the profits. They bought wrapped Bitcoin. They bought Ethereum. They bought a few other tokens. They bought the wrapped Bitcoin. It's wrapped on the Ethereum network because that's going to be for their DeFi protocol. So that to me is huge. I mean, I always said I like DeFi. That gives a competitor to this banking system, and that would make the banks only treat us better and give us, they would be forced to be kinder to us if we had a competitive system that wasn't being targeted and people weren't being prosecuted unfairly and,
Mhm.
indicted for all types of crazy things.
Yeah.
So yes, I think they kind of said, hey, it can be a free for all now. You know what? Banks, you can custody crypto.
Or Crisco.
Crypto.
It's cheap.
We'll call it Crystal. That's a new
Yeah,
new.
there you go.
But hey, even though I don't like the banks, people want that. So I'm for completely a free for all. I'm for whatever people want. It doesn't mean I like it or want it. I'm just saying, hey, if people want to do it, I'm down to let them do it. Doesn't mean I'm doing it. I wouldn't keep my money with my crypto with the bank. I
Right.
wouldn't like that. But I could see where that could be beneficial for people that do understand what we understand. You're holding Litecoin, you're holding whatever crypto that you want, and you have to get a mortgage. And now
Right. Prove
you
your
don't,
assets.
you don't want to hold your money in fiat, and the bank says, well, hey, we'll custody Litecoin. You can deposit Litecoin with us, and that will count as proof of reserves. You know what I mean? So I see that being a net positive for us. So I like that. I think the meme coin thing was just to show how much money is in this, how fast a market can go from zero to billions of dollars in a matter of 2 days. I think that was to show the people how that would be done.
And really empowering the people. Like all you have to do is hand it back, give them an opportunity, hand it back to the people.
Yeah.
And it's been so captured by the Fed and they that made all the rules. And we didn't have an option of where to put our energy except for into US dollars and even other countries, because of the mighty force of the military or whatever. Even when they tried to put it in gold or silver, well, then it was manipulated by markets. And so you're right on about like it was this whole this may be the first step of showing people that how much power they actually have if they'll take the power, that you can take your ball and go play in another court.
And let's put money in the pockets of people. I mean, let's face it. If you show people a way to make money and they make their own money, that's a lot better than the government taking tax money and handing it out to people. Trump's talking about ending the income tax. Let's change the system and let's put money back in the pockets of people. I mean, that's a wonderful thing. So I think we all got to be, look, nobody likes anything 100%. We have to all be realistic. and say, hey, Trump's going to do some things that I might not agree with 100%. But think about how life works. Think about relationships work, or in general. Do you like 100% of what if you're married, you like 100% of what your husband or wife's doing? Everything's about it's a compromise a little bit with stuff, So it's just, look
My
at it.
husband's looking at me over here from the.
Look at the positives, I guess, and not focus on the positive and don't dwell on the negative. If you say, oh, I didn't like Trump did this, I don't like that. Okay, but what about the other stuff that you do like? So focus on that right now and just let things play out. I think there's a lot of things. To me, this meme coin thing is wild. That wasn't for no reason. It wasn't, that had a lot of purpose.
I was surprised how many people that I respect in the Bitcoin community or in the crypto, not even person would fall over if he knew I called him that. But in the crypto community, this one guy specifically really pushed back and was like, oh, this is the most horrible thing. And and then he had his wife do it. Well, that's because they can't arrest us both for doing it. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? That like Trump did this horrible illegal act by launching a Bitcoin or by launching a crypto. And I was just like, we talk about, using blockchain and having use case, and that we have these tools and doing these kind of things, and how it shows transparency and all this kind of stuff. And then you're going to give the man shit for it. Like, and
it's freedom. It's, hey, he's showing, hey, this is what it is. It's obviously he didn't talk about the utility, the value. It's a collectible. It's him.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed how much value and money can go into it. And that was what it was about. And it's just about, hey, this is, I think it was, hey, don't be afraid of this now and embrace this stuff now. And it's, do I invest in meme coins? No, I don't personally. It's not something that I want to dive into. I'm about buying things of value that I think are undervalued, but to each their own. I'm about freedom. So if people want to do that type of thing and gamble on it and have some fun, well, I think it's a lot better than going to the casino and gambling. At least you're learning something about crypto and all that. So it's, and it did show how much Solana sucks. I mean, Solana really sucks as a blockchain. And it's, but
he's been doing a lot of that though. And I think he did a lot of that even in his first presidency. When he came in, he did not remove people from positions of authority, but then he put them right up front and put them in the front row and let them say what they were saying. And that's what happened the other night with, and Westwood and I are going to talk about this more tomorrow night, but with the AI thing and the Oracle guy and all that, and the funding where that's coming from. And then he froze them from posting new articles and having changing their conversations and whatever. So it's kind of like, oh no, you don't get to change your narrative now. You came out and you said what you said, and now we're shutting it down, and people can now see who you are, and you're gonna be standing.
Look at World Liberty Financial. I mean, it's going to be a DeFi platform. I think it's going to be a lending platform, which I love the idea of that. I mean, lending's the oldest business out there. Lending's been around forever. So I think when you could do it through DeFi without gatekeepers and without people that like your politics or like your business that you're involved with, it's a really, really good thing. But look where they're building their DeFi on. It's built on Ethereum, not Solana. Why not? Well, let's call it like it is. Ethereum, although the gas fees go high, it does at least always work. It doesn't.
Ethereum worries me though, because with oh gosh, what's his name now? It's escaping me. But isn't he a Goldman Sachs guy? He was the behind the scenes guy, and he was stacking his bags. I don't know that it's so decentralized. I don't think it can pass that no more than 20% rule or whatever.
It's a lot more decentralized than Solana, and it
Well,
and it doesn't go down. The network doesn't go down like Solana goes. Solana network actually goes down. I
oh
mean,
sure, for sure. Yeah.
that's like, so I think it's for DeFi and for that type of thing. I mean, you know, Ethereum is, I don't like Ethereum. I don't like the people that were behind it and
Yeah,
stuff. I
I guess that's
trust
where I
them.
have a problem with that.
Yeah, sure. But it's at least a sound network where it works. And it's not like Solana where it doesn't work. Now, it gets expensive and all that, but it is at least, I guess, reliable, a lot more reliable than Solana is. So, you know, so again, it's just interesting that these were released on Solana, which does make sense because I think I was saying to you before the show, if you're in business, you want to sell product where the people are. If you're fishing, you want to fish where the fish are. So most of the meme coins, all the liquidity is on Solana. So if you're going to release a meme coin, if I was to release a meme coin and somebody said you need to make as much money as you can in the next week doing a meme coin, you release it on Solana. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, if it's popular, the network might go down, but people don't care. They're just like,
They just wait for it to come back up, and they're excited. And yeah.
yeah. But
Well, and it's interesting because they released it on Solana, and then like you said, then they could watch it where it moved to ETH, and because it's an open blockchain or network, you could kind of see like, well, I guess it could have been like a test. What happens when? What do the people do with it? What are the people really looking for? Because if you were given an airdrop or whatever, or had an opportunity, like what do you consider a hard asset, or what are you looking for? What would you trade your Trump that went to sky high,
yeah.
what would you trade it for? So it's very interesting.
And the maxis are really freaking because they bought wrapped. Most of what they bought is wrapped Bitcoin, not regular Bitcoin.
So they would be able to see the purchase and track it and see what everybody. I'm sure. I mean, most likely this is a test.
But it's usable in DeFi, and that's to me the reason why they bought wrapped Bitcoin, because wrapped Bitcoin, there's a lot of demand for wrapped Bitcoin because that, DeFi is all based around coins that are wrapped on the Ethereum network. Then there's other DeFi as well. Obviously, like Binance Smart Chain, that has a lot of DeFi, like Pancake Swap and all that. I think that actually works better than the Ethereum DeFi, a lot of it. But either way, the Ethereum DeFi is deep liquidity. So if they're rolling out, and maximalists are all about don't use your Bitcoin. Don't use it. So what good is that for society and for commerce and for the economy and all that if maximalists are saying, hey, don't lock up your Bitcoin in 87 multi-sigs and in this vault somewhere and never use it, just use the banking system. And Trump saying, no, we like the idea of Bitcoin, but we're buying wrapped Bitcoin on the Ethereum network so we can actually use it. It blows maximalists' mind.
Let me play the quick video clip that you sent me from today of, and then have you comment. The new crypto czar talking about the death of CBDCs, but then talking about using the stable coins.
Moving to a central bank digital currency that would be run out of Washington by the Fed and would basically gradually replace cash and catalog everybody's transactions. And it could lead to new laws and dictates about how people spend their money. So I think people are very concerned that that could be an Orwellian path to go down. No one wants to go down that path. And I think we can create stable coins, basically digital dollars, without doing that. So the executive order is really clear. We want to create a regulatory framework for stable coins, but we don't want to go down the path of CBDCs.
But a digital currency for a government could be competition to Bitcoin. Did that play into that decision?
Well, I mean, any government can create a stable coin. So, but I think the U.S. Dollar is already the world's reserve currency. So I'm not really worried about competition there. I just want to extend, or I believe that what we should be doing is extending the dollar's dominance into digital areas, extend it online. And I think that could actually create trillions of dollars of demand for U.S. treasuries. It could be.
So he's talking about, as my understanding, he's talking about creating a digital treasury note. Is that what you got out of that? A digital US dollar as a stable coin, like based on the treasury?
I think he's arguing that the stable coins in the current form will make the dollar stronger because I guess in reserves, the stable coins buy U.S. treasuries. And so it's good for the U.S. It's not something to look at as, oh, this is a threat. It's like, well, actually, like, it's actually good for the current system. You know what I mean? Now, put that aside from if there's a sound money system, then the stable coin would just become that sound money. You know what I mean? And that would be, or maybe it'd be an easier way to transition people from the current system to a dollar that was more of a constitutional dollar, something that was more backed by silver or gold, a dollar that didn't have debt attached to it. It'd be an easier bridge, I feel like.
So if they did that, that's where the ITMs, and they would have to have an audit of the silver. And I just watched a video of an SD Bullion guy, and I can't remember who was interviewing him, was talking about how right now there's been a delay in silver moving around because a lot of the silver was like getting reprocessed to be stamped or reformed, whether it was coming to America or going to these other countries, because they were like forming it to make it like that country's dollars or that country's, but they were taking it in their possession. So it was coming off the LBMA and they were taking physical possession, that makes sense if they're going to be physically backing these digital dollars with silver. And then that would be a way you could have it tracked on the blockchain like we've talked about. Yeah. And then
really a stable coin can really represent whatever they roll out or come out with. I think the important thing is that if you can interchange the stable coins easily between different, if there's a stable coin, a Litecoin stable dollar, a Bitcoin stable dollar, in Ethereum, like you got USDC or USDT, all these different stable coins that they have good interoperability. And then I think that would be an easier way to transition people into a new monetary system too. And then
is it kind of like being able to send an email on, like back in the day, you could only send AOL to AOL people. And then once you were able to do cross chain, so you could send emails to anybody. So an AOL person can send to a Gmail person, to a whatever. Is it that kind of thought? That's what the stable coin
yeah. As far as having them being able to transfer easily. But think about if you roll out a new system, if you have, it'd be hard to take Fed notes and just convert them into a new dollar, right? It'd be very, very tricky how to do that. Well, people, let's face it, these banks are Federal Reserve banks. If they get rid of the Fed, that bank account, even if it does, that would be if they had a CBDC, they could do that easily.
Right.
But if you roll into a different type of system, I think stable coins are the bridge to it. Hey, you can convert these stable coin tokens into this other stable coin, but that other stable coin has a little more value. The value is always, it's creeping up. It's always a little more. It's always a little more. And then maybe it's like, wow, for every dollar that you trade in, you're getting more, you know what I mean? Like it has more the purchasing power that's growing. It's growing. And technically behind the scenes, it wouldn't have to be connected to the Fed in any way, shape, or form, because it's just dollar for dollar moving around in an interoperable manner.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And you could easily get rid of people like the Fed or Federal Reserve member banks a lot easier by having the stable coin system. I could see that working a lot better than just people have bank accounts or Federal Reserve member banks to go into some alternative system. I would just see the banks being such a hindrance behind that. But now in a stable coin system, they wouldn't have any control, no control.
Yeah, you just would have to be, it would have to be audited. Like they would have to be, that's where the blockchain to me would have to come in. And it would have to be that thing where on WBRT, we talked about it and Joe had explained this method where like one physical coin, or I had some in this safe, I could pull that coin out, or I could take this action, and because of that, then I could always know the full balance of that.
It would only need to be audited if it was a hard money system. If it was still a fiat system, you wouldn't have to audit it because fiat's fiat.
That's where we need a hard money system. We can't go into it. We can't go into the next fiat system,
right?
Or there's no point in it.
But the stable coins would work in both systems. That's what I'm trying to say. You could transition from a system of no audits into a hard money system that has checks and balances built into it. So you can use it. You can use it both ways.
Like in the chat, they're saying like that transition would just be them taking the money printer from the Fed to then this new stable coin system. And I think
not necessarily, because say there was a system that rolled out that was a silver dollar. Let's call it silver digital dollar, right? And that system has auditing in place. And that system is redeemable for a certain amount of weight in silver, right? So these physical silver coins, maybe it's American Eagle, maybe it's something to do with that notch in the coin like Bix is talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe now that's interoperable with this stable silver digital dollar, right? Well, there'll be some type of convertibility from the old stable coins into this.
But then not when, but at some point they would run out.
Well, there'd only be so many of them. That's what would give that new system value, because it would have to be scarce for how much silver is in that reserve backing it up. That would be the key. So that whatever they transferred into would have to be would have to have that auditing in place. But you could use stable coins in the current system. You don't need any auditing because the current system has no auditing. So how stable coins in their existing form, you don't need any auditing in my mind, because the dollar has no value. So if you have a stable coin and it's trusted that it's worth $1, well, what do you need auditing for? It's not backed by anything. It's just it's equal to $1. A dollar's not backed by anything. You know what I mean? But if you transitioned people into that hard money system, then you could have the advantage of the blockchain, the accountability and all that. So I think it would be a good way to.
You're saying there, yeah, this is one of the steps, which Uncle Cliff's data did show, we the people, I guess, turning away or denying like the government or whoever, the powers that be, providing or presenting money, I think 3 different times to us, or failing 3 different times. So maybe that's, one of those along the way that process, and that we'll have things presented, and that's part of getting rid of or ending the fiat system. So maybe fiat will die with part of those things ending.
And I wouldn't personally want to use the stable coin system. I like the idea of holding Litecoin or Bitcoin, something that gains value and grows in value. I get it, but I don't want to tell people what to do. So stable coins have a big demand. That's all I'm saying, that because they have a demand, let people use them. You know what I mean? We need to let, just because we like Litecoin or something else, we can't tell people, hey, this is what you got to let them learn for themselves. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it.
Well, there, we've heard it from Johnny right there. So freedom, but educate yourselves. And that's the most important thing right now, because we are all going through these big transitions, and there's opportunity in all of that for sure. So thank you, Johnny, for filling us in on all that. And thank you guys in the chat for being there for us and looking out for everyone there. We'll be back tomorrow for happy hour and reading of some exciting executive orders and slinging gold and truth, and I don't even know what we're going to have happen. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure it'll be exciting. So you guys take care and stay warm. See you guys.
Take care, you guys. Good to see everybody.